to kind of just pay attention on your terminal and look at it, or it will be recorded as it is going on. So that's another advantage, that you can kind of look at it afterwards if you require. Okay, so these two things I'll do every time. I'll give you an agenda and I'll give you the YouTube recording, and then we'll do what we need to do today. So it says, okay, so we are going to code the first Java program. And refresh your memories, Java is a programming language. It is a high-level programming language. You write code which the machine does not understand, but the compiler will compile or change your code to bytecode for Java. Usually it converts it to machine language, but for Java, Java is a platform-independent language. So the code is compiled and changed into bytecodes. Not human readable, of course. This bytecode is then run or executed by the Java runtime unit. So it takes the bytecode, converts it into machine language, and now the machine understands what you're trying to say, and it will execute your code. And if everything goes well, syntax-wise, if you have syntax errors, that means your grammar is wrong, you will have compilation errors. If everything is okay in the program, where periods should be, where braces should be, and so on, if the program is compiled correctly, and if the logic is right, you have the right answer. But if the logic is wrong, you have incorrect answers. So that you can either have compilation errors, you should first remove the compilation errors, and then you can run your program. In the run program, you can have runtime errors. Now the runtime errors can be two. One, fatal, dead. Your program just stops working, can do nothing about it, doesn't even understand what you're trying to say. Or two, runtime errors give you, they're not fatal, they don't stop your program abnormally. They give you an answer, but the answer is wrong. That means the logic of the program is wrong. Okay. So the first job, to write program. Write it using the correct syntax. Compile it. See that it has no compilation errors. If it has, go back, make changes. Once all compilation errors are gone, now execute it or run it, as we call it. Look at your result. There. Simple. Right? So we were working on a program last week. So please open up that program and use TextPad or Notepad++, whatever you like. I think I stuck with TextPad if I'm not mistaken, just because I think I'm more familiar with it. And open up wherever you saved it last week. Please open up. It wasn't complete, of course. So let's see. Monday. It was week 2 actually. It wasn't week 1 last week. And we had this program called greetings.java, right? This is the program we were writing. With me? Everybody? Right, so this is the code we wrote last week. Doesn't do anything, but we learned a few things. One, we learned that we should always comment our code. It goes without saying. All programmers in the world, all good programmers in the world, code will always put comments in their code. There are 3 types of coding styles in Java. You see one that starts with a star and slash and a star, ends with a star and a slash, is a multi-line comment. So you can put as many line of comments. It starts where you begin it, where you put those 2 symbols, slash and a star, and it ends where you put a star and a slash. Comments. Ignored by the compiler. You could put anything in it, but definitely comments are written so that programmers, when you read your own code, maybe an year after, or if we are programmers and we are working on the same project, we understand what you're trying to do. I can't read your mind, right? And I don't want to. And in this educational world, we are learning how to write code, how to write comments so that I can understand what you are doing, right? So don't over comment it, but good commenting is good. So I don't want you to say something like, I am going to add 2 numbers now. No, not that much, but maybe in the beginning, a couple of weeks, we'll do more commenting, but then we'll only comment major portions where the logic is on your head necessarily, and I cannot understand it. So the first 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first 5 lines are called multi-line comments, or also called block comments. And every program needs to have them for my course. I need your name, I need the date, and I need the purpose of the code. Not assignment 1, not week 3 example. No, what is your program doing? So notice I said to display a greeting message or to just display a message or whatever you would like. Right? Of course, the date has changed, so we'll have to change the date. We didn't get much to do. So 10 and 7 is 17. An interesting math fact today. If you take your age and add the year you were born, for everybody today, it will result in 2018. So whatever your age is, I mean, round figures, of course, right? So if you are 50, easy to do, and you were born in, I don't know, what it will, 1900 and something would be when you were born if you are 50. If you add the two, the answer is 2018. Today's year for everybody. So today everybody is of the same age. Okay. Interesting fact today that I read somewhere. I'll put it on the math announcements. Anyway, now, how do I code in Java? In Java, the code has to be put into a class. So your first line, at least for now, we'll learn what could be right before it, but your first line of code is public, class, and the name of the class. Public simply says, as the normal English word for now, public says, oh, anybody can use my class. I'm a programmer, I can write good classes, anybody can use it. So that's what public means. There are more, there is a private, okay, for your information, there is a protected, but for us, for now, public. If you're writing public classes, it's like everybody can use it. 2, the reserved word class, and public has to be spelled also as it is. It is case sensitive. Java is case sensitive. You cannot change the spelling, of course, but you cannot change the case also, okay? Then comes the reserved word class, and then comes the name of the class. The name of the class, if you notice, have started with capital G. It could be more than one word, it could be multi-words, but the naming convention, not a rule, but a convention that we all will follow, and it will have marks, and you will lose marks if you don't follow it, because if you're going to be programmers, we better talk like programmers so that we understand each other. The camel case, oh, sorry. This is not called camel case. This is called Pascal case. My first mistake in my first line. This is called Pascal case naming convention. Every letter of the word starts with a capital letter. So you have a multi-lettered name. Greetings from Anju. G will be capital, F will be capital, A will be capital. What's the big deal? Easy to read, right? Easy to read. If I write them all in lowercase or all in uppercase, it's difficult to read. So that's why for easy reading, the names of classes use the Pascal naming convention, and the Pascal naming convention says the first letter of every word in the name is capitalized. That's it. Nothing else is capitalized, right? This is also called an identifier. What is it identifying? It's identifying your class. What is an identifier? Something that identifies it, right? So it is also an identifier. So the identifier rule for naming classes says every word has to start with a capital letter, uppercase as it is called. Then you have the opening braces, and then you have the closing braces. The opening braces, as if you can guess, stands for the begin of the class. Usually we don't write it, but here, begin of class, definition. Remember, these are just definitions. And then the end of the class definition. So keep in mind, Java is an object-oriented language. We define classes, and a class is nothing but how I look and what can I do. So data and methods or functionality is put together, encapsulated inside a class definition, right? And it is just a definition. It's like a blueprint. You're defining something. To use it, you'll have to make it real. You'll have to create objects of it. So I'm just defining a class, and this class is a very small class, but it will say something on the screen for you. So by default, your keyboard is your input device, and by default, the terminal of your computer is your output device. You could save your output in a file if you like, if you wanted to. You don't see anything on the screen, but you save it in a file, and then you can open the file and read it. A text file, a normal text file. But we'll start with this. We'll take the standard input. STD standard input is your keyboard, and your standard output and your standard error device is your is your terminal screen. Your errors will also come on your screen, right? Okay, so there's the begin and there is the end. The double slashes that you've just seen are also commenting. These are called line comments. So you can only put one line of comment, but you can put it wherever you like. I've put it after the curly bracket. I've put it before the curly, wherever. It's just a line comment. So you can put it on any line. It may only be a comment and you may have nothing else on that line. But if there is code on the line, you can put a comment at the end of the line. But as soon as you go to a new line, commenting finishes. This is called line commenting. Okay. The third type of commenting in Java, very important, is the Java doc commenting. So this is okay. This is for you and for me to read, and we are okay. We do stuff and it's fine. We can understand what we are doing. If and when you become a real programmer and you start writing classes that go into the Java class library, remember the huge library I was talking about? Then people will start using your classes. When they start using your classes, of course, then they have to know what's inside the class. What are the methods of the class? How do I use them? So what Java doc comments create is what is known as Java documentation. And I'll show you an example right today, right? So those have to be written a little differently, in the sense they have reserved words that have to be used. You have to kind of explain a few things. They start with a slash and a double star and end with a star and a slash. Okay, so we will learn Java doc commenting also. And what gets produced from it is a help file. A document file is created and you can say, oh, here is my document file. Here is my bytecode. Go ahead, now use my code. So to your client, you will give your document file a manual, right? Because otherwise, how will he use or she use your class? And you will give your .class files, not your .java files, because you've worked on it. You've taken, if he needs, or if your client needs to do any improvement or changes, you want to be paid again. So you won't give your code, but you will give your bytecode, and your client must have a Java virtual machine. So we will learn how to write Java doc comments. Right now, nothing much I can write right now here because there is not much in my code at all. But as time comes, I'll show you how to write them. Okay. To begin with, for the first couple of weeks, when I say couple, I mean maybe week 3, 4, maybe 5, till maybe even the midterm, I will write Java as if it was procedural program. I'll write a procedural program in terms of Java. But very soon you will say, when it is an object-oriented programming language, why are you sticking to the procedural way of writing it, which is old packaging? Why don't you just do it? The aim is that I don't want to, and even we don't want you to get confused or boggled with the way of writing object-oriented programming. First, learn programming, and then, as I told you, the only difference is packaging. So once you know it, and all you have to do is, oh, I just have to package it a different way, then you will become a little better. Once I'm satisfied that you've learned the 3 pillars of programming: sequencing, decision-making statements, and iterative statements, you can write code. Then I say, oh, now let's try to actually write a good class. So I'm still writing a class, but the way I'm writing is more procedural way of writing it. So I'm still not using the actual object-oriented concepts of Java for the first couple of weeks. Okay. Okay. Now looks good. Does nothing, right? But there are no compilation errors here. If instead of the curly brackets you put a round bracket, you will get a compilation error. Okay. So now to compile it, remember we will open a command line and we should be able to compile this program. Does nothing, but we should be able to compile it. So save this program. Go to where you have saved it, which is in my Monday section, week 2/3 now. So this is my folder where I have saved it. Copy this folder. We need to change directory to this folder. So there is this program sitting here called greetings.java. Remember its name. And another rule you have to remember: the name of the class, whatever you call it, has to be the name of the file in which you save it. So I called my class greetings. The name of my file has to be greetings.java. Same spelling, same case. If I don't follow convention, I'm okay. It won't give me any compilation errors. But if I don't follow rules, I'll have errors. So if you don't follow conventions, it's okay, because conventions are just understanding, right? But rules cannot be bypassed. But for my assignments and my exams, marks will be taken off if you don't follow conventions, because we all want to follow conventions so that we can talk the same language. So now, just to kind of maybe compile this program, though it has nothing in it yet, remember where you've saved it. Just keep in mind where you've saved it, copy it, and now open a command line. Right? Now, change your directory. CD means change directory. How many of you are familiar with command line way of doing stuff? Not bad, not good. It's okay. 4 or 5 are good enough in a class of 40, right? You can help each other. So CD means change directory, and then do a right click with your mouse and paste that directory where your program is residing. Definitely may not be the same as mine. All I want you to do is I'm going to change the directory to the directory where I've saved my code for greetings.java. Okay. Once I'm in the directory, you will notice that, notice this, it says users, A, Chavla, documents, courses, and this is where it is. That is where my program is. Now I want to compile my program, right? So 2-step, compile first, execute second. No compilation errors, can run it. Compilation errors cannot even run it. Go back and make changes. So let's compile the code now. So go javac. So javac is Java compile. It is an exe file that is sitting in the bin directory of the Java installation. And we've already included that directory in your path variable of your environment variables. So now go javac and then name the file. Go gr if there is nothing else. Just press the tab key and it will complete it for you. Right? So javac is the command to compile a Java program on the command line. This has to be included in the path environment variable of your computer, which we already did last week. And then which program am I trying to compile? I'm trying to compile greetings.java. Start with G if there is only one name with G or GR or whatever, and then press the tab key, it will complete it. Okay, so I should be able to compile it. I shouldn't have compilation errors. Do an enter. If there are no compilation errors, the prompt will come back. If you have compilation errors, you'll have a list of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. All compilation errors will be listed. Okay. Now to run this program, go Java. Right? Just say Java. This is to run. And the name of the program without anything, no extension, just Java and the name of the program. No dot class, no dot Java, nothing. Right? And do an enter. Uh-oh. It says main method not found because my program is not complete. That's why. So I have no compilation errors. Grammar is okay, but logic is wrong. There is no main method in there. I haven't done anything yet. So it says, look at the error. It says main method not found in class greetings. Please define the main method. And you can ignore the rest. So it says, where is your main method? Which method am I running? You didn't tell me. There is no main method, which means every Java program must have a main method. There is where execution starts. So let's now learn how to write the main method. With me? Everybody with me? So the program should have compiled and all of you must have got an execution error. Yes. Oh, you mean it doesn't complete it for you? That's strange. Tab is just an old DOS way of completing it. Go javac javac space, start with whatever is the name. And then did you change to the right directory? CD. This is short form. Now go javac. Oh, it didn't change the directory. See, you're still on C users line. I didn't even change it. Because we have dashes, I don't know. Not even changing directly the name. Okay, now let's do a CD and then okay, so CD, right click and then copy. Change your directory first to the one that you have. So CD and then right click and paste it. Now you're in. It is not changing it. So the problem is you're not even in the right directory. It's nothing to do with, oh, I can do the Java. It's just not in the right directory. Why is it not changing directories on your command line? I'll see that. Java, right? But we can look at it afterwards then. Okay. Okay, right? Okay, let's come back to what we were doing. Where is my text pad? There. Okay, so now it was complaining that a main method is not available. So now you kind of can make an educated guess. Every class in Java has to have a method called main with the signatures exactly like I'm writing it. Now, for readability, I mean, you don't have to indent your code, but it is highly recommended that for readability, indent your code so that when I read it or you read it, or you take a print and give it to me for the first, I say, oh, I need a print from you. I don't want to go and run it or whatever. I need a print. I can read code. So if you start writing everything from column 1, then it's difficult to read. But if you indent your code, then it is easier to read, right? So now I'm going to write my first and the most important method in a Java class, which is called main. And its signatures are public, static, void, no spelling mistakes, main, and it takes parameters here. Now there are a few people like to kind of put their brackets, the opening bracket here. That's one way of doing it. It's just a you know, a style. So some programmers like to put the opening bracket in the same line as the signatures of the method. This is a method. We'll talk about what a method is in a minute. And then this is the end of main. So again, we'll say of main. I mean, you don't have to say end because when it's a closing bracket, it is end. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to say end, but this is the end of main. And please, especially new programmers will be mismatching braces. Okay. Now this is a method, and by default, every Java program, when you run it, execution starts here, right inside, and ends here. So anything that you write inside main gets executed. Nothing else gets executed. You'll say, oh, that means the whole program is inside main to begin with for you, for now, for today. Yes. Then we'll start saying, oh, the program is getting too long. Maybe I should kind of make modules out of it. Maybe I should delegate the job to different methods. Now, what is a method? A method is basically some lines of code or code that does a certain job, right? So every method will have a name. This method's name is main. You can change it. This is special. This is a special method, right? Methods can be public or private. Main has to be public, okay? And a method does a job. What job does it do? Depends on what do you want to do. A method called add numbers, maybe adding 2 numbers. Display could be displaying something. So again, the name that you give to a method should be meaningful and follows the camel case naming convention. I haven't written one yet. Main has to be called main, but notice it starts with a small m, not with a capital M, right? So method names use camel case naming convention. And what is camel case naming convention is this. You have a few words or maybe a single word. The first word starts with a lowercase, all others start with uppercase, like the hump of a camel. This is called camel case naming convention. So the first word starts with a lowercase letter, and then every other word starts with an uppercase letter. This is called camel case naming convention. Names of methods have to follow by convention, not a rule, by convention, the camel case naming convention. So you know what public is? Oh, it's everybody, belongs to everybody. You know that it has to be called main. Let's very quickly look at the rest. For now, you can kind of ignore them, but I'll tell you in layman language. The void is the return type of main. What does it return to you? Main method returns nothing. So if I say, what is 2 plus 5? What will I get back from you? 7. So you're returning me the answer 7. So that is the return type, right? So void means I'm not returning you anything. My return type, I'm not returning you anything. That's what is the return type of the method. So a method signatures will have either public or private, which is actually its way of saying, or can it be used by everybody, or it can only be used inside a class definition. So it is public or private. Then for now, you can ignore static. We'll talk about static maybe after a couple of weeks. Then comes the return type. Return type could be void, means returns nothing. It could be a number. 2 plus 3, 5. It's a number. It could be a string. Anju, right? So the type of answer, what is the type of answer is the return type. Then comes the name of the method. Please use meaningful names. You can change this name. It has to be called main. But when you create your own methods, use good names. Again, don't call them XYZ. Don't call them C1, C2, C3, nothing. Good names. Add numbers, subtract numbers, display name, whatever you like, but good names. And then in round brackets comes a parameter list. Now, what is this parameter list? If I have to ask you a question, add 2 numbers, what would be your response to me? I say add 2 numbers. What would be your response to me? Give me the numbers. Give me the numbers. Because it would be nice if you can talk. It's nice, right? It's always nice to talk and smile. Okay, because otherwise we won't learn anything. So the question that you'll ask back from me, which 2 numbers? So the which 2 numbers that you're asking so that you can perform your job are called the parameters. You need some input to do your job. That input is the parameter list. You could have 1 inputs, 2, 3, 4, 5, unlimited. Main says I can take any number of string inputs from you. String means text. In layman language, string means text. String is starting with a capital S. What do you think string is? A class. By convention, all class names start with capital. So string is a class that is already in the library. The library understands, the compiler understands, string means text. The square brackets, which you haven't learned and won't learn for a while, is simply saying collection. And it is empty. Empty means as many as you like. So if you wanted to give some parameters to main, you could give no parameters, which we will do for a few times, maybe a couple of programs. You could give 1, 2, 3, 4 parameters to main, any number. All of them must be of type text. Even if you're giving a number 3, it is assumed to be character 3, not the number 3. And what is this ARGS? Just a name. You could have called it Anju. ARGS for short is arguments. And by default, everybody just writes ARGS. Right? So ARGS is the name of your parameter. It's just a placeholder. So it's a box name. This is where I'm going to keep the inputs you give me. So you'll say, but you have so many and you only given one name, ARGS. So where will I keep if I give it 2? The first one will go into ARGS 0. The second, their boxes, ARGS 1, ARGS 2, ARGS 3, ARGS 4, so on and so forth. Right? There is where your input will go if you give any input. If you don't give it any input, that's okay. It's an empty parameter list. But the parameter list in main says that I am called main, I am a special method, and I am capable of taking any number of inputs from you, which we call parameters, but all of them are assumed to be strings. Whatever you give me will be a string. String means text, right? And I won't return anything to you. Then what will you do? that means you're a useless one. You don't do anything. But of course, it's a very useful method because execution starts at the beginning of the main and ends at the closing braces of main. So whatever you want to do has to be put inside main. So if I want to print a message on the screen, it has to go inside the body of the main. Okay? So those are called the method signatures. The method signatures will have a return type, will have a name, will have a parameter list, will have public or private, and the static we'll talk about, as I say. For now, we won't even talk about it. Just take it on its face value. But those signatures for main cannot change. The only thing that you can change in it is this name, ARGS. That's all you can change. You can call it whatever you like. But nothing else can be changed. It has to be public, has to be static, does not return anything, return type is void, has to be called main, and the parameter list is a collection or an array or a box full of strings. So it is a collection, not one, a collection of strings. Okay, and the collection is called ARGS. So you can assume that main is, if you give parameters to main, then it has a box in which it will keep your parameters. That box you have chosen to keep called arguments, ARGS. And the children of this boxes are called 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And notice how I'm using square brackets. So the parameters of main are called ARGS0, ARGS1, ARGS2, ARGS3. So if I give it one parameter, it will be saved in this box. If I give it two, the first one here, the second one here. And you'll say, how will you give it? This is how I give it. I say, I want to run my program called greetings, and I want to pass it some parameters like, hello, I'm Shu. How are you? So how many have I given? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why have I put it in double quotes? Because strings have to be put in double quotes. So what will happen? Hello will go into the first box. So ARGS0 is what this is, will go into. ARGS1 will contain this. ARGS2 will contain this. And 3 and 4 will contain this. If you do not give anything and just run it like this, then no parameters are given. That's okay. If it doesn't need any parameters, it can work without parameters also. But if your program needs parameters, then you have to give it parameters. All parameters must be strings and must be separated by commas and should be put in double quotes. So if for whatever reason I had to put a 3 also, God knows why, but suppose I wanted to say 3, the 3 is also to be put in quotes, and it is a string. It is not the number 3. It is a string, 3, right? So that's what the parameter list is. It's called whatever you want to call it. For me, it is called ARGS, short form for arguments. It is of undefined length. Its length can be anything, right? And it has children or boxes, and those are called 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, ARGS0, ARGS1, ARGS2, and so on. And the 0 and 1s are all put in square brackets, right? This is just a collection. How you do a collection in Java. Okay, now I have a main, but there is nothing inside main. So if I go to my command line again, and if I use my upper arrow, I can again compile my code, right? You can use the upper arrow to get the command again. Hopefully I haven't made any mistake in compilation. And now to run it, same command, the Java greetings one. I shouldn't have that error that you don't have a main. I have a main. Oh, it says I didn't find it. What? Didn't save it, maybe. I didn't save it. Smart me. If you don't save it, how will I make a change? Let's go back again. Okay, let's compile it again. Let's run it again. Does nothing because the main method is empty. How will it do something? To clear your screen when it becomes too much and you make silly mistakes like me, You can always clear the screen by going CLS, clear screen, right? You can maximize it if you want, but that's how it gets maximized. It doesn't go this way. It just goes this way. But when it becomes too much, you can't read, you can do a CLS to clear this. Okay. So compile it and it should work. No compilation errors. Run it and it should run. No runtime errors, but does nothing. Because main has nothing inside it. The main method is empty. Now let's do something inside main. Again, spacing, white space characters. What are white space characters? Tabs, new lines means new lines, different lines. Spaces are collectively called new line, are collectively called space. Space, tab, and new lines can be used in Java program without any problem. They're just ignored by the compiler. Then why are we putting them? Readability, just to improve readability. So you can use them, and it improves reading code. It's easier to do. Now let's see, how do I print a message? Let's do our first wonder. Very simple. There is a class called system already defined in Java. So system.out is what I'm going to use. So somebody has already written it for me, right? System is a class, starts with a capital S. Therefore, it is a class. I know it is a class. The out, the dot out is actually again, because it's the first class, but anyway, out is basically a component of the class which does something for you. And what does it do? Prints something for you. So I'm going to use the system.out object of the system class and use the method print. So what was class? How do I look? What can I do? So system is a class, right? Inside the system class, I've created the system.out is the object. System is just a definition. System.out is an object. And print is a method of the class that I'm going to use to print something on the screen. So now I've created an object of the system class. You'll say, where is the system class? It's in the library. How does it know the library? Because when you downloaded Java, all the API, it knows where to go and look for it. Now, to make it easy, what the Java API consists of is packages. So it has like classrooms. Like it would be so odd if the college was an open college. So there were no walls and everybody was teaching and learning, and think of the chaos in the college. So what has Java done also in its API or in its library? It has created packages, right? Packages just means collection. And inside packages, it has put classes. So common packages, the most common package is called java.lang for language, right? And it has those classes that you would just kind of use in everyday life. It is your common box. And this class called system is in that package called java.lang. If I wanted to use something mathematical, I would have to use the java.math package. So you will say, how do I know the names of these packages? Do I have to memorize them? No, you don't have to memorize them, but Google them and find them out. If I want to do something with databases, I'll have to use the package java.sql. So there is a package called java.lang, which by default has the common classes that you would commonly need to write common Java programs. And you can use it without importing it. You don't have to say, oh, give me that package. You don't have to. But if you start using and you start writing advanced program, then you need classes that are not in java.lang, then you will have to import the package from the library, right? So import says, I want to use that package and I want to use a class in that package. So system.out is an object of the system class. The system class resides in the package called java.lang, which by default can be used in a Java program. Print is a method inside this class called system, and to use it, look at the notation, dot print. So the name of the object dot the name of the class is how you use a class. So what is the name of your object? System.out. What is the name of your method? Print. Okay, so object name dot method name is the syntax. That's the syntax, right? And it is a method. So it will require some, so it will require some parameters. It will have an opening and a closing bracket. Notice how my method had an opening and a closing bracket. So print also has an opening and a closing bracket. What you put inside it is now its parameters. So like main is a method, so is print a method. Print method belongs to which class? The system class. To which package does system belong? Java.lang. But I don't have to import it. But if we had to import it, this is where I would import it. I would say import the java.lang package for me. You don't have to do it because it's the most common package, which by default is imported when in your program. So if you wanted to import packages, here is where you would import your packages. And then you give a dot and the star says all the classes from java.lang need to be imported. So import is saying, give me the use of the package java.lang. I don't have to do it because it's default. And the dot star says all the classes inside the package I would like to give me access to all of them. If you were only interested in print, I could have said dot print. So this statement, though I'm writing it, is not required because java.lang is the default package, right? Java.lang is the default package. So why am I even telling you this? Because very quickly you may need it. So you should know, oh, that's how I do it. So java.lang is the name of the package. They're java.io, java.lang, java.net, java.util. For utilities, there are so many packages. And inside packages are classes. And classes, if you know the name of the class, you can simply say java.lang dot the name of the class. But if you say, oh, give me everything, then you put a star. It's not going to give you the code or anything. It's giving you the permission to use the package java.lang and all the classes inside it. So there is no code that is copied here. The import statement is just a informative or declarative statement, which is saying, I need to use that package. Keep in mind, I need to use it. So if you see something, me using it, don't bark and say, oh, you can't use it. I've already taken your permission. I don't have to, because I'm using the system class. System class belongs to java.lang, and that is the default package. So it will even work without that. Okay, and I'll show you. And now the print method. What does the print method do? Exactly what it says. Takes a parameter of what kind? What kind do you see? String. It takes a parameter of kind string. Right? So now you'll say, oh, does it take one parameters, two parameters, and so on? For now, we are doing text by text, but won't help you or anything. But when we jump to say NetBeans, it helps you. It says, oh, print, you're using the print method. This is what it is expecting from you. It expects a string from you. Right? Okay. And once you have finished your statement, please put a semicolon at the end of the statement. Oops. So basically, statements in Java are terminated or finished by putting a semicolon. Right? Let's see if it works. All I said was system.out. Welcome to Georgian College. Right? Let's save this. Let's go back to our command window. Let's compile it again because we made changes to it. If I made a mistake, then I have errors. No mistakes. Let's run it. I'm not giving any parameters to main for now. There it is. So by default, which method gets executed? Main. It starts from main, ends at main. Anything you put inside main will be done. Semicolons are required. Try removing them. Remove it. Remove this one. We'll say, and that's what you have to learn, grammar, right? Save it again. Go back. Compile it again. I have a compilation error. It says one error, and it has kind of made a caret sign, and it's not too bad. It's telling you that semicolon is expected. So sometimes the errors will be easy to figure out, but sometimes they won't make head or tail out. But you will learn. You will learn to read errors because that's your job too. When you write programs, you will make mistakes. When you make mistakes, you should learn how to read compilation errors. So it says at line number 7 in your greetings.java, I find that something is missing. I'm expecting a semicolon. Let's see if it's line number 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You forgot the semicolon. The program did not compile. I started my text here by double quotes. I forgot this for whatever reason. We are human. We all can make mistakes, right? Let's see. I get an error. So I started a literal. This is a text. Literal means something that doesn't change. I started a text literal called strings. In Java, they're called string. And I forgot to close the double quotes. Let's save it. Let's compile it. I have another kind of error now. I don't have that missing semicolon because I rectified it. But now it says you have an error. There is an unclosed string literal. Makes sense? Unclosed, you didn't close it. String, text, literal, constant. Doesn't change. And it says I found it. And so it kind of got confused. So it says after that, it's giving you an error everywhere because if you didn't close something, it says now if you didn't close it, where did this come from? You haven't finished your statement. Then what if that's wrong? This is also wrong, and this is also wrong. Everything is wrong after that. If I put it back, I'm good to go and I'll be fine. There's your print statement. The program now should compile and run successfully. So once it runs, try to break it to see the errors. That will teach you, oh, this is what I missed. So you will make mistakes when you start writing. Perfectly fine. I'll make mistakes when I type even because I'm talking, writing, doing things, making mistakes. Everybody does that. That's okay, right? But you should know how to read your errors so that you can rectify those errors and remember those errors and don't make them again. You'll say, is that all? Can I write more print statements if I like? Why not? Let's do it. Let's write another statement. Same job. I wrote another message. I again used the print method of the system class using the object system.out and the print method to print a message on the screen. Not a very tough method. Exactly says, see, now the name is useful. Print tells me it prints something. What if the guy who had written this print method called it hello? We would never make head or tail out of it. Because he or she called it print, it makes sense. It is for printing something. That's why I say the names are important. What you name your class, greetings. I can make an educated guess that you're going to put a greeting message on the screen, right? Main method I have no control over, but the main method is a good name. Main means, oh, I'm the main, I'm the king. Makes sense. System, it's something to do with system output and input. So therefore the class is called system. Method is called print. Let's see what happens. Save it. Save it. Let's go back. Let's again compile the program. Hopefully we haven't made any mistakes. Let's run it and notice something. It says, welcome to Georgian College. Did not go to a new line and continued all the best in the same line. That's exactly what print does. It prints a message on the screen and stops there. Doesn't go to a new line. That's how it was written, right? So the print method does not take the cursor. So it will print whatever you tell it to print. And these are the parameters you are passing to the print method. How many parameters are you passing? One, right? It has to be a string. So it is in double quotes. I can't pass it a number. Okay, it has to be in double quotes. We'll try and I'll show it to you. And all it does, it prints the message on the screen and stops there itself. Doesn't go to a new line. So the print method prints something on the screen. So you can add this, the print method. You can't misspell it. You can't do anything to it. It has to be exactly called print, lowercase, same. Print method prints its parameter or whatever you tell it to print on the standard output, which is what? The screen. That's what it does. Okay. Now you'll say, oh, that looks odd. Together, I don't like it. I would like to kind of maybe put it in different lines. I have a way of doing it. I have a few ways of doing it, right? Let's see the few ways of doing it. Now, we'll keep the print here just so that you see it. We'll kind of just do an empty, just for the heck of it. I'm going to use a method called println now. And what does the println method? Oops, triple. What does the println method do? It does the same thing that the print method does. But after that, it goes to a new line. So the println for line. Println is one word, ln for line. The print line method prints its parameter, and you didn't give it any parameter, so it prints nothing on the screen. So it will do welcome to Georgian College. The cursor is there, and then it comes to the next statement, which is println, do nothing but go to the new line. So it will print nothing but go to a new line. So this message will come now on a new line. Does it make sense? So now that's the println method. Print line method. So the print method prints and sits where it stopped printing. Guys, please. Print line or print ln prints and then goes to the new line. So if I don't print anything, I just say system.out.println, it just goes to a new line. It's like taking your cursor to a new line. Right? Let's try it. Let's save it. Let's go back. Let's compile it again. By using an empty println call. An extra statement to do one thing? No, there are other ways of doing it. I'll tell you. But you've seen print and you've seen a println also now. Okay. Now let's try to make some mistakes. For example, let's do a system out println or print line, really doesn't matter. Now it depends. How do you want your output to be? Do you want to be in the same line? Do you want to go on different lines? So you know whatever it is. But what I did here is I'll put a 3 here. So I'm saying all the best 3, kind of, right? Or to you. I say to you, but I forget my quotes. But I'm just showing you 3. Let's save this. Let's go back. Let's compile it. Doesn't say any compilation errors. Did I save it? I did. Okay. Let's see what it does in the run. It says, okay, I'll take it. But keep in mind, it is printing something, but the 3 is still a string. And it is printing it after the quotes because you didn't go to a new line. Okay, so if you don't start anything, if you don't put double quotes to begin, don't put it to end. If you begin, then you end. Okay, so it's a silly thing to say all the best 3, but I mean, I'll put it there and I'll comment it out. But it can be done. Now, if I want to, can I kind of combine them? I want to give a message, but without using ln, go to a new line and then do stuff and so on. Let's combine things. Let's learn about escape characters. We've learned about white space characters. White space characters are new lines, tabs, spaces are called white space, white, W-H-I-T, white space characters. Leave some white space, right? Now let's learn about some escape characters. And I'll show you some, oops, wrong place. I'll show you again, I'm still using print and so on. Now, if for whatever reason you didn't know how to use the print statement or you wanted to go and look at the print statement, all you do is this. Open a browser window, look for Java documentation. If you have downloaded it on your computer good enough. Java 8 will do for us. There is the standard API. There are the packages. This is the java.lang package. And there is the system class. The system dot. There are enumerated. There are exceptions. Have I used the right one? Is it an interface? No. Byte, Boolean character, class loader, float long. Short, where is it? String, system, there it is. There is the system class. And here is the system class. And there are the out that I use, right? Those are fields. So I've called it an object. And the print method. Where are you, print method? Where are you, print method? MNOP. Oh, because it belongs to the out one, maybe. Or it is coming from toString. Wait, give me a minute. I want to show it to you. So what I did was I went to the documentation. I clicked on Java long. So notice how there are packages on the top. I clicked on Java lang. In the Java lang, there are some classes here. There are some interfaces. Ignore them for now. We'll talk about it maybe in the second course. There are some classes. The classes are called Boolean, byte, character, whatever, whatever. There is also the class string sitting here. We saw a string class, but there was a class called system in which I'm interested. I clicked on that system class. The class system came here. It's telling me, oh, I belong to the package called lang, and it's a final class, cannot be changed, extends the object. Object class is the, I'll use mother because I'm a lady, right? The object class is the mother of all classes in Java. You'll say, do we need a mother? Yes, because we need inheritance, right? Something comes from something. So there is a class called object, and that object class gives you some methods, and these are the methods. You can clone an object. You can check if two objects are equal and so on. So these are methods that are available in the object class, and you can just use them out of the blue, right? And that class, every other class in Java will inherit from it. So notice this. First, it says java.lang.object, and inside there, it says java.lang.system. It is basically saying that the system class belongs to or extends the object class. So it is the child of the object class. And inside there were 3 fields, and it has been available since JDK 1.0. For your information, this information that you're seeing right now on the screen was created using Java doc comments. That is what it produces. It produces a manual, a help file. If I didn't have it, I would be lost. I wouldn't know how to use the system class. Now I know, oh, the class is called system. It has fields. Right now we are not so good with our classes. So we'll assume, okay, that's the standard output stream. And then it has some methods. Here are the methods: array copy, clear property, console, current times, GC, whatever. And where is my print method? System.out. That means I should be clicking on that out, and it will be, there it is, inside the out. So here is the out, and here are the methods of the out. So you have print ln, you should have print, you should have a print f, and so on and so forth. And it says, what does it do? The standard output stream is already open and ready to accept output data. Typically, this stream corresponds to display data, and I've used a print. I haven't used print ln, but they've shown print ln methods, and they've said there are more of them, right? So no big deal. But if this documentation was not available, you would be lost. So Java doc comments, which we will learn in the later half of the course if time permits, but definitely you will do it in your other two courses, is to produce this help. This is just an HTML file. This is coming from Java doc comments, and I haven't written any in my code right now. So no big deal. If you forget or if you don't know what's happening, you can always Google IVent documentation. You could just have said print method and just said Java. Even something like this will do. And there, it is a final class, print is the statement, the print method does this, and here it gives you examples and everything. So you can always go and look up, and system is a class in Java, println is a method, print p should be small. That's a typo. That tells me you're not doing a good work, youth 4. But anyway, print should be p small and so on. How to create methods and so on. It's all here. Right? So it's not as if, oh, I'm lost. You can never be lost if you know what you're searching for. Right? If you know what you're searching for, you will never be lost. Okay, now escape characters. I promise that I could write one print statement and I can do many things in it. So if you only want to do system out printlns, you're good. Everything will come on a different line. If you want to say, I want to use one statement, but I want to kind of do a few things in it, tab my spaces or go to a new line or ring a bell, ping, or something like that, I can use escape sequences. So let's try to write something again. I'm going to use a system out print statement like I did before. And I'm going to say, I've already said, welcome to Georgian College, all the best. I'm going to say, Java is fun to learn. Right? And I'm going to use something now which is a little odd. I'm going to put a \n here. This \n is called an escape character. Now, why is it called, the first thing, why is it called an escape character? Because otherwise n has a meaning. What is n? N is n. It doesn't have a meaning, but n is n. You don't want to print n, you want to change the meaning of n. You want to escape the meaning of n. If I had written just n, what would it do? It would print n on the screen. But when I put a \, in front of it, I'm saying don't use n as n, use it as a new line character. So \n is called the new line character. And what do you think it will do by its name? It will take your output to a new line. Oh, I forgot my, or I don't know. Java is fun to learn. You will get it. I don't know. What did I do? I used the print method. I used the print method. So it is going to say Java is fun to learn. The escape character that I've used in between will take me to a new line, and then it will say you will love it. And then it will stop, you will love it at that line. It's not going to go to a new line automatically. So if I give another print statement, it will start printing from there. But by putting the \n in the print method, I have forced it to go to a new line. So here is an example of an escape sequence or escape character or an escape sequence, whatever you would like to call it. I've given you one example. There are more. There's a \t, there is a \b, there is a \r for carriage return and so on. You'll find it in that chapter. There are 5 or 6, not many. But I'll show you one example first. Let's try this. Let's save this. I said print just prints on the same line. I just said that, right? So now will it print everything on the same line? Will that \n do some magic? Let's try it. Let's do the magic. Let's compile it again. Let's run it again. Do you see Java is fun to learn, but has come with all the best because that was on a print line. That was on print. So that didn't go to a new line. But then Java is fun to learn and you will love it has come to a new line. So why are all the best and Java is fun on the same line? Here. So all the best, after all the best, it was print and you just sat there. Where did you sit? The pointer was just here. And then you had another print statement. So it just started printing from there. If you had wanted it on a new line, you could have just said print ln here. And it would now go to a new line. Okay? So print and go to a new line or print and sit where you are is the difference between print and println. That's all it is. So it wrote all the best, and after the all the best, it just sat there. And so when it encountered the next print statement, it said Java is fun. Starting from there, the \n took it to a new line and put it on the new line. And then it's sitting there now. It is sitting here after the it. So if I now print something, it will start printing from there. So learn the difference. Print and println differ here this way. They start to print, and after printing, the print sits where it is. The pointer will just sit there. Whereas println says print and go to a new line. It's not saying start with the new line. It says print and go to a new line. So the previous print or whatever says where am I? And the next print or println says now I am here. Okay, that's the difference between print and println. I'll give you a break. Okay, and then we'll come to the printf. So what we've learned, we've written our first Java program. We know how to write a class. We know how to write the main method. We know what is public. We know what is parameter list. And we know how to print something on the screen. One job done, printing on the screen. We've learned the difference between print and println. We'll come and do printf, which is the formatted print. Okay, take a break. It's 1:15. We'll meet back at 1:35. You can have your lunch, and so will I. And I'll put this on Blackboard for you.
I don't know what's going on with this. So
what is
here it says it says you can't find greetings.
It should be declared in a file name. Okay, so where did you save it? What did you call it?
Oh, I don't know what it's class.
No. That is okay. That's after compilation.
Oh,
but what did you call your Java file?
I called it greetings.
How is it different from what you called it here?
Is it capital? Does capital? Thank you. Appreciate it. I tried that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. I said same name, same case, right?
Hi. I don't know if you'll know the solution to this, but quite a few of the power sort of stations here have not been supplying power.
Oh.
And I'm sure that's why a lot of people just came up.
Okay. Media services. Come. Hi, my name is Anju and I'm an instructor here at the college, and we are in room K326, and I think all power stations are dead. The students are saying there is no power in the room. I'm sorry, come again? Yeah, it's a lab. It's a multimedia room. Yeah, so the students get their own computer, but we have kind of the power stations in the room, and they say none of them are working. Oh, so I'll have to call physical resources for that? Okay. Would you know their extension by any? Okay, I'll try the 0 and do it again. Okay. 5215 5251. Thank you. What's not happening?
I keep seeing error.
You see it.
Yeah.
Right click. No. You show me this folder first. Where is your program? It can't be called .text. It has to be called .java.
Oh, Java.
Yeah. So I need this folder first. So take that folder, copy it, and so that's okay. Okay. Okay, that's yes. Yeah. Okay, so copy that your address. Okay, now go to CD. Are you in the right directory?
Yeah.
Okay, so greetings, what did you call it? Greetings.java? Yeah, so greetings.java. Okay, enter. Oh, so it says I can't find Java. You haven't included it in your path variable. Open your environment variables. You haven't done step number 1. Java cannot be. Were you here last week?
Yeah, I did.
Show me your environment variables. I would like to see. Yes. I want to see if you have included it. That's what it says. Simply even Java will not run. Go to your command prompt. Just go to your command prompt. Command line. Just say Java. Don't do anything. Just say Java.
Just a Java.
Yeah. Oh, so it was there.
Yeah, so that's just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so show me the command again. How do you kind of get it again? The Java.
Oh, okay. So, Java.
Are we in the right directory? Is this directory?
Oh,
Is this directory that you're seeing here, this directory? Java V2? Are we, because I can't read what, this is not English. I have to be in this directory to run, compile. So are you in the right directory? Is the first thing.
So, first I need to copy it.
Yes, copy it. So do CD. Are you in the right directory? Say CD, right click here. Are we in the right directory?
Yeah.
Now you are. Now do the Java. Okay, yes. It's not called .java. No, but the extension should be .java.
So the name has to be
.java, yes. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so you are not in the right directory. Yes. Okay, so you need to do a class path. Okay. So not the path. There is another variable called class path. Not find Are you in the right directory? Show me where your program is. So we are in the right directory. Desktop, studying, programming fundamentals. What a name. Okay. Okay, now try Java. Okay, what does it say? So Java is running.
Yeah, it's running.
But Java is running. Oh, when you say Java, then you don't say .java, you just say greetings. Yeah. Does it run?
Yeah.
So say, use your arrow keys. Remove the Java. Now, there it is. Now what?
I got it.
I have to do, no, I have to do a CD, change that, CD, and then change blank, spacebar, right click, and then, yeah, now do, yeah, enter. Now you can do your Java and the name of the program. And then the name of the program. Let's do the tab. Is that the tab?
Yeah.
Okay, enter. Slow. Okay.
So then it's possible.
Then you do the Java. I need to eat, otherwise I won't be able to survive. Okay. Everybody with me? I'll come and show you something that somebody asked me. I'll tell you what happens when you compile it. You'll see a .class file in your directories, but I will give it 10 minutes. If I don't need, I'll fill it. And physical resources is not picking it up, and I'll try once again. Physical resources. Nicely Java. So it is compiled and greetings. Just greetings. Hi, Jana. This is Anju from K3 to 6. And I'm in class here, and my students are saying that there is no power in the room. The power stations are not working. It's a multimedia room. Yep. Thank you. Bye, Jana. Did you get it? Okay. Okay, I'll be back in 10 minutes. So there will be somebody from the physical resources that come and check what's wrong with the power. Okay?
डेवलपर सीट होगा सब जाए तब लेट चलता था छोटी ना मतलब ये को मार दिया है रोज चलता है टोटी लाइक को बोल जाएगी ना ये कोई पकड़ा थोड़ी देर में चढ़ी जाएगी आपका पर नहीं चढ़ेगा हमारा बेबी से जो तो ये जाता है ये नरम पाऊ माता Pada ka bau ito talaga. Reduce the couch. Waktu kerja tadi yang kita punya itu tuh. So, gue terus तो ये पता है गरीब ये काम करो दे तो स्टार्टिंग में फाइनेंस तो इच्छा थी यार सोर्स में तो कैसे जवाब मारते हैं सोर्स खबर थोड़ी फाइनेंस आज इंटेलिजेंट जॉब मारते हैं टाइम तो काढून बरे येत नाही पैसा मध्ये आहे कॉमेडी सायकल लेला इकडे पप्पाचं नाक काढे $700 $20,000 ada mobile dan telepon gendut lagi yang mantap ya aplikasi 4 orang snap lainnya બધા કેવું મારા તો કોઈ સારું છે ખાલી ઉભું રહેવાનું ફરવાનું અંદર આપણે સભ્ય આમાં તમે કોને પહેલી પ્રાયોરિટી આપશો કોને પહેલી આપશો तो करता जो अलग अलग पोजीशन है कभी बीट कम करो ટ્રોલી અરજી કરવાની હોય કોઈનો કેશિયર હોય મારે આપણે પ્રાઇવેટમાં જઈએ પેલા ગ્રુપ ભરે પેલા ઊભા હોય કશું મૂકતા હોય વાતો કરતા હોય અને કશું આપણને જોઈ તો આપણે કે મારે એક વાર ખાલી દેવાનું કલાક પડે તો 20 થી 25 કલાક 20 લીગલ છે 25 આપણે એટલા કલાક આપણે તો નવરા જોઈએ આપણે અવેબિલિટી આપી છે આટલું મારું કોલેજ છે એ લોકો ₹80,000 આવે નહીં મારે એટલા જ છે બધા જાય કોઈ બી કંપનીમાં જાય કોઈના ધંધા સાફ કરવા જાય લીગલ માં એપ્લાય કરી ખબર પડી એરી કરીને કેન્સલ કર્યું एक जगह जाने तो गया तो करे बस इसमें तो रिन्यू कर देना तेरे नाम वो लिखा है तो वादिक છે ને સવારે 12 વાગે બી હું પાડશે સવારે બધી હોટલો ખુલ્લી ત્યાં જઈએ પછી નો જોઈએ मैंने डिवाइस इमेज बस में इंटरमीडिएट डिवाइस जो है यहाँ पर आगे का इतना कम लग रहा है काम करा दिवस में बदले कुछ नहीं क्या करना है हाँ ना इधर से एक महीना में ये लोग की मशीन और ये काम रहा है और जेल पर उधर से ये टू है माची टू टू है પછી જે और वो जो उसमें
So the power stations are not working, but the outlets on the walls are working, right? None of the power stations are working? What? This is working?
So I'm currently having trouble with counter repeated it. No matter what I change to it, it always says it's 3 gigabytes.
Is not applicable. Jar is not applicable. Boolean is not applicable. Okay, let's go back. What did you call the program? And how did you save it?
I saved it to my desktop.
In greetings.java?
Oh, not that. In this right here. And then I
You call
named
it
it greetings.java.
greetings.java.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you in the right directly in the, okay, let's look at the program code for it.
Okay.
Okay, now let's look at your command line. Let's see if you are in the right direction. You are in OneDrive desktop Java. It says no suitable method found for loading system.out. Okay, so that's a print ln and not an in. That error I know. Come on. So let's okay, do you save this program? Okay, compile it. Yeah. Now let's compile it. Java. And just tab and
Still says 3 errors.
just say Java. Is it even Okay, so that's right. At least we know that it has to be something that I can see. There's no magic ever. Whole Java.lang.class public static void main What program are you using? Which type your program? What are you using?
Or Adam.
Do you think it has some special characters like Word which are creating problems?
The person who's using Adam.
Use some. Because I've never used it. I can see a mirror by my naked eye here. Email it to me. Let me see what I can see. I have to see something. Guys, we'll start the class because we are already running 5 minutes late, and then I can see this afterwards, okay? Can't waste everybody's time. Okay, the first thing that I would like to bring to your attention is after you compile a program, a .java program, is it that poor? No, 0? You're running on 0? Will you have to sit there and work? How much? 20%. Okay. Yeah, at least sit somewhere where you can see. Okay, I would like to bring to your attention something. You have to name your program greetings or whatever you've called your class .java. You can't do without it. It has to be called the same name, same case, everything, same spelling, .java. 2. After you compile the program, you will notice that you have a greetings.class here. It's called greetings, same name, .class, which if you like to open with whatever, I try to open it, but you can't read it because it's all bytecode. This is the bytecode class file. The .class file is the bytecode that is created after compilation. Okay, so in your directory, you will always find that there will be your normal file Java and there will be a .class. This class file only will come into existence after you have compiled your .java file. Okay, now don't worry about this welcome. This is something, it's another project. It's nothing to do with the greetings we are writing. Okay, so it has to be called the same name, and please follow Pascal naming conventions for your code. Now let's come back to where we were, and I will answer your questions after class. I can, if you don't have a class, I can stay for 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so, but I always have an office hour before this. So if there are any doubts before, if you have any doubts, or if you're busy after class today, before you come to class next week, clarify your doubts by coming to my office and getting them clarified. So if you want to leave this 3 here, it's fine. I mean, the 3 was very odd, but out of the blue, it didn't make sense, but you can print a number if you want. And let's try this. I think it's smart enough. Let's see if it can do, though I haven't talked about arithmetic operators yet, and therefore I don't want to do it, but let me see if it can do arithmetic operations out of the blue. When I say out of the blue, I mean in the print statement, okay? Yeah, it can. See, notice I have a 5. So you can print whatever you like. You can print text messages. You can print numbers if you like. The 3 was just looking odd, so I kind of commented it out. But I would like to show you print F. But before I go to print F, I'm going to talk about how to take input. So there is one escape sequence, just for your information. Instead of \n, try this. You can use a println here if you like, or you can put an empty one. Try this. Instead of \n, try a \t for tab. See if it does something for you. My God, character spelling is wrong. Too much. Anyway, the \t is for tab, just so that you know. You want to start from a new line, you can always put an ln here and it will start from a new line. So whatever you like, it's just now you know the difference between ln and l lines and whatever. So compile it again. Did I save it? That's one big thing that I keep forgetting with TextPad. Anyway, so now notice what is going to happen with tab. No, Javac. No compilation errors, run. You see this tab? So it left a tab space. So you have \n, \t, \b, \r for carriage return. It will overwrite. It will just go to the beginning of the line and overwrite it, which is very silly, but you can do it if you like. Nobody stops you. So you can look up the escape sequences again. Again, I said there are not many. So all you do is look up escape sequences or characters. And there they are. Right, so you have a backspace. You can go one backspace, new line with \n, tab with \t, carriage return with r. Carriage return just goes to the beginning of the same line. So whatever you had written before, it will be overwritten. It will be a jumble, but there it is, r. Form feed is more for paper, right? And double quotes. If you now, thankfully, good that I brought it up. Now, if you want to put a double quote inside your code. So suppose I want to say Java is fun to learn and or my name is, let's put something else just so that I'm doing printlns everywhere now just for the heck of it. Again, please notice indentation. So I'm going to say my name is Anju Chawla, but I want to put Anju Chawla in quotes. The poor guy is completely confused. It says, oh, you started a quotes, you ended it. So there is end. So what is this Anju Chawla double quotes after that? So if you would like to put a double quote in your print or println statement, all you do is escape it here. Now, the double quote does not have its usual meaning, but has its special meaning. It will be printed. So you escape it. So if you want to put double quotes inside a message, just escape them. You want to put a backslash in a message, go \\. It will print the \. Otherwise, it won't print the \. Okay. So these are called escape sequences. So \n, \t, \r, and so on are common. But if you wanted to print this double quotes, so my name will come in double quotes now. If I did it, I would have a compilation error. See, try it. I'll try it. You don't try it. Here. So I thought, oh, let me print my name like this and see my compilation error. The guy will be totally confused. There. Okay, let's try Java. I'm going to have compilation errors. There it is. It says, what are you doing? Like, I don't know what you're doing. You finished it. You said, my name is, and you finished your double quotes. And then you just wrote something and I can make head or tail out of it. And all I wanted was, I wanted my name in double quotes. So poor me didn't know what to do, but now I know what to do. So escape the double quotes. So because double quotes has a special meaning that it is delimiter of your string, strings are written in double quotes, it has a special meaning. You want to escape that meaning. You want to print it. So therefore also they're called escape sequences, right? So now it will work right now. And Java and Java. And there it is. My name is Anju Chawla in double quotes, right? So anything that has a special meaning and you want to escape it, put a \/ in front of it. So if I wanted to do this, though it's very odd, but I want to put a \/ in between, like I want to print a \. Don't ask me why. Okay, I want to print a \/ in between. Let's see what happens. Will it print the \/ for me? Okay, let's try this. But remember, \/ has a special meaning. It is being used with escape sequences. Not you, not you. There you are. It says, what are you doing? What is this \/ doing here? Because \/ have to be used only with escape sequences. And I didn't say \n or \t. I wanted to print the \. So what do? Put another \/ to print it. And you will say, oh, \/ forget about your special meaning \/ just print it for me. Right? Therefore, they're called escape sequences. Escape from their usual meanings. So now there will be Anju /Chavla printed. So you can always like those, there are not many, there are, as I said, 6 to 8, I saw 8 or 9 or whatever it is, but that's how you do it. Will single quotes create any problem? What do you think? Will single quotes, didn't save it? Of course I didn't save it. Maybe put something here, save your program. Like small kids. See, Anju /Chavla, now is printed. What do you think about single quotes? Will I need something special in single quotes or should it work? What do you think? Have you seen single quotes with a special meaning yet? We've seen the double quote has a special meaning. We've seen / has a special meaning. So we know about these two. But we haven't seen anything special about single quotes. So let's see, what does this do? That's it. It's just trying stuff, nothing else. Did I save it? I did. I think, you know what? I should do it this way. That way, if it is not saved, at least I'll see the there. Oh, it worked fine. It didn't say anything about it. And it put a single quote. Why? Because single quote does not have any special meaning. I don't need to escape it. Double quotes has a special meaning. What is its special meaning? Delimit a string. You have to put a string inside double quotes. It has a special meaning. So you had to escape it. Make sense? I should remember to stay here because then you won't, the recording doesn't take my voice. Okay? Are we okay with printlns and prints? Let's now try to read something from the user and then I'll show you printf because it makes a little more sense. Just writing a printf otherwise will not make a lot of sense. Okay, now let's learn how to take input from the user. Because what's the sense of putting messages on the screen if like there is no input? So read input or take input from user. Remember that was on our agenda too today. How do I do that now? Now, I need, if there is something to print, if there is a class that helps me to print something, there should be a class which will help me to read something. Right? Otherwise, what's a language in which you can do an input output? It's really no good. Okay. So the class that now I need to use is called the scanner class. Okay. So I need to use a class called scanner and I need to create an object. Remember I said classes were just definition. So a scanner class is available in the Java library. You'll say, oh, what if I don't know about it? Now you know. Right? So there is a class called scanner, which will help me scan or take the input from, you can take it from the keyboard, you can take it from a file also. You know what a file is, something that you save on your hard disk is a file, any text file, word files, these are files, but we use text files only. So I need to now use the class called scanner. Now the scanner class is not in the java.lang package. It's not, you'll say, output is common. Isn't input common? I would say yes, but who am I to disagree or agree? Whatever is done is done. I have to do what I have to do. So now I need a scanner class. Of the scanner class, I'll create an object, somebody who will help me, a physical thing, right? The physical object. And I'll talk to the physical object. Please read my name. Please read my age. Please read today's date. So I'll ask the object to do stuff. So now I need the scanner class. To use the scanner class, I need a package. So this was kind of not needed. The program will still run. But to use the scanner class, I need import. The name of the package that I need is called util, short for utilities. Try it without it and you will have an error. Okay, we'll try to use it without it and we'll have an error. And from the util class, I only need the scanner class for now. If you put a star, and you can, I won't call you lazy. Star just says, give me everything. I'm too lazy to name the class. Now, there are two classes of programmers. Programmers say if you put a star, you are being lazy. If you put the name of the class, you exactly know what you're talking about. I don't know. I'm on neither side. When I'm lazy, I use the star. When I'm not lazy, I use the scanner. I teach both, right? Okay. So I need that class called scanner. Notice it starts with a capital S. So all classes, that's why I say you follow conventions. Everybody follows conventions and we don't have to make guesses. The class is called scanner. It belongs to the package called java.util. if my Java documentation is still open, I will show you this util package when I get to it. There it is. And in that util package, I will find a class called MNOPQRS. And there is my scanner class. That's the class I'm interested in. So notice the name of the class. Java.util is the package. It's not java.lang now. So I have to import it. Only java.lang need not be imported. So if a class belongs to any other package but java.lang, you have to import that package. And notice the hierarchy also. The util, the java.util scanner is still extending the object class. The scanner class is a child of the object class. So the object class is the mother of all classes in Java. It is at the head, sitting at the head, right? You could say the root of an inverted tree. So every class, any class you pick up will have extends written with it. And it will always extend object. It will by default. The class that you've written, greetings, also is extending the objects class. You didn't write it, but it is extending the object class. Now, do not for now ignore implements for now, just because how can you know something in your first Java class if it is new? People who know can do this, and that's okay, but I'm not explaining it right now. So there is my scanner class. I needed it. I have to import java.util. You could have said java.util.star. I'm going with scanner just to be not lazy in my first class. Now, step number 2. How do I use the class? Okay, I know where the class is. You could have written a question in Google, take input in Java class, which class to use, it would have told you scanner. Now, how do you use it? Now, you can do it anywhere you like, but I usually write all variables or objects that I need. I kind of put it in the beginning of my method. You can, before you use it, you can put it anywhere, but usually I put it at the beginning of the method. It kind of gives me, oh, I've put all my boxes here, the boxes that I need. So of the scanner class, of these, now it's no more greetings, it's much more, it's kind of increasing in its size, but that's okay. Of the scanner class, I need an object. I have to create an object. So to create an object, spelling wrong, of course. And you can misspell your scanner, okay? For the scanner class, I'm going to create an object. Remember, a class is only a definition. It's a blueprint. If you want to use it, you have to create an object. And how do you create an object? You write the name of the class and then the object name. What would you like to call your object that will help you to read something? Would you like to call it A? Not a good name. Would you like to call it by? Not a good name. What about the name input? Good name. That's because I say it. You can call it whatever you like. But that's a good name. Input is a good name. It should not be a reserved word. Input is not a reserved word. Don't use a word that is reserved for something else. If is reserved, don't use that. So now I've created an object called input. You'll say, what is an object? You can just think of it as a box. Okay? It's a box which has functionality or methods inside it. It can do a few things. Right? Now, what things it can do, we'll talk about afterwards. Now, I've declared a object called input. It's again an identifier. I'm using camel case convention. Starts with a small I. I haven't called it input with a capital I. It belongs to the scanner class. So I've said scanner, give me something called input. And now to request, now to create the object, say, give me a new scanner object. That's how you create an object. So you go, name of the class, blank. You have to leave a space, at least one space. Name of the object. You could have done this in a new line if you like, but I'm doing it in one line. I'm creating and declaring. Declare and create. So if you only wanted to declare it, this would be declaration, done. Input is of type scanner. 3 is of type number. Anju is of type string. This is just a declaration. Then I would have to repeat it again. I would have to say, what is input? How do I instantiate it? How do I create it? So you can do it in 2 different lines if you like, Or you can do it in one line, which is more common, but it's not as if. It's up to you. It's just a preference. Okay, so I'm saying new is a reserved word. So don't call your variables or your objects new. It has a special meaning. New means give me a new object. Of what type? Scanner. And what do you want to connect to? I want to connect to system.in. There. So I've said declare and create an object of the scanner class and associate it with the standard input. And what is your standard input? Keyboard. Oops, not catboard, keyboard. There. And that's what you do. With me? Now I have an object called input. And this input object is of type scanner. And by virtue of the definition of the scanner class, this object will allow me to take input from the user. Okay? So somebody defined a class called scanner. I wanted to use it. I created an object by using new. I have an object. Now to the object, I'll talk. I'll say, can you read my name? And I'll have to tell, I want to read a string. Can you read a number? I'll have to tell it, I want to read a number. So I'll have to tell it, what do I want to read? So that it exactly knows, oh, if she says number, then she will give me something like 35. If she says number but gives me Anju, I must tell her, oh, are you fooling me? Anju is not a number. So now I will use this object called input to read an integer, a real number, a string, whatever I want. Whatever I want. You'll say then, so how do I do it? No big deal. Go back to what we had open and let's look at what can you read using this object. Come on, come on, come on. Here we are. And next thing, come on, little more. look at the methods it has. Look at the scanner class. This is the one. If I want to read an integer, I have to use that method called nextInt. If I have to read a string, I have to use the method called nextLine. If I have to read a float or a double, those are real values, I have to use the method called nextFloat. That's the method I have to use. Okay. So you should know the class, scanner. Create an object, input. And what is an object? Remember what was a class? How do I look? What can I do? So what can I do has names, method names, functionality. If you want to read an integer, you have to use the method nextInt. If you have to read a string, you have to use the method nextString. If you have to read a float, you have to use the method nextFloat. If you try to make mistakes, program will blow up. It will say, don't fool me. You can't fool me. You said nextInt, give me an int. You said nextFloat, give me a float. You can't say nextInt and give me Anju. I know Anju is not a int. And who has told it all this? Remember the mathematicians? We've told the computer what is a number. We've defined a number. Digits, plus minus sign, point. We've already defined it. So it knows what an int is. It knows what a real number is. The computer already knows it. So now, step number one, I've already done. I have already declared, where are we? Here. I've declared a scanner object. You could have taken this line and done it before reading, just before reading. And I'm again saying I would like to I like to put my boxes in one place at the beginning of the method. This is the beginning of my method. But there's nothing, because encapsulation says how do I look and what can I do is in the capsule. Shake it. You can put it anywhere. It doesn't really matter. I just like it in the beginning. Some programmers put it at the end, which I find very odd. It's nice to at least see it before you're using it, but you can do it. You can put it anywhere. So now I have an object called input of type scanner. Now how do I use it? Okay. So if I want to read a person's name and I want to put it in a box, because in a memory, you'll say, I can say, what is your name? Sam. I read Sam somewhere. Sam. I'll say, what's your name? He'll say, Sam. Where have I put it? Somewhere in my brain. You know what? I'll forget it tomorrow because I'm so poor with names. So if you want to take something from the user and use it in your program, you will have to put it in a box for the computer so that the box can refer to that memory location when you use it. So similarly like me. So if I remember Sam, now I know Sam, I put his, what have I done in my brain? I put a picture of Sam and his name. Now I should not forget him. So while a program is running, I will need boxes to put my data so that I can use that data. I just, out of the blue, it doesn't know how to use the data. So I'm now going to declare some variables. Okay, now what is the type of the name of a person? What is its type? String, right? So, and string is a class. What would you like to call your box? What would be a good name for a box in which you want to keep the name of a person? Name. Here. You'll say, why didn't you do a new there? Now, let me tell you something. Just because string is so common, we use it all the time. Java says, I'll understand when you say string and you give me an object, I'll automatically do the new myself. You don't have to write it for me. I'll do it myself. Otherwise, every time you create an object, you'll have to say is equal to new, whatever is the name of the class. So I need not do this. I can stop right here. Or if I wanted to, I could have said is equal to, without the semicolon, of course. I could have done this, something that I've done in the previous one. So I'll put this in, I can do it this way also. But strings are so common. I mean, think of it. It's half a word. So since strings are so common, though string was created as a class, you can just create the object without doing a new. It does. There is a little difference of when you use new and what if you don't use new. I won't talk about it at all right now. Okay. But you can just say string, give me a variable or an object called name. Suppose you want to keep the semester number, or let's put age because age is more common. What is the type of age? What is it? What is age? Number, right? Is it a real number or is it an integer? Int. Right? So we just saw a type. I'm going to use int and I'm going to call my variable age. So age is called a variable, name and input are called objects. They are interchangeable when you become smart programmers, but we should know what we are talking about. So if I am using a class and creating an object, this is called an object. I am not using a class here. I doesn't start with a capital I. It's an int. Int is actually a data type. It's called a data type in Java. There is a class also. For your information, there is a class called integer also with a capital I. It's called integer. But there is a data type called int. And that also works. The difference, the int is just data, nothing else. The class integer is data and methods. You can do something with those integers. That is the difference. When Java was originated, it came with only data types: int, float, double, char, boolean, byte. These are the data types for your information in Java. If you want to complete the list, int, float, double, char, byte, boolean. These are the 6 data types in Java. And these are the only 6 places or things that are non-object oriented in Java. Everything else is object oriented. And therefore they said, oh, why did we create these data types? Java was a pure object oriented language. We should have not even used data types. I think they were in a hurry in the beginning, so they created it. But they soon rectified their errors. And now you have classes called integer capital I, float capital F, double capital D, character capital C, and so on. So you have classes also. But basic data types, if you're using something like age, something like marks, and you're okay with using data types, it's fine to use data types. There's nothing wrong in it. But this is the only place in Java which is non-object oriented. It's data types. So the various data types are, I said int, there is float, there is double, bigger than float, there is char for character, there is, I think Boolean, if I'm not mistaken. We'll know as soon as I write. Yep, Boolean is right. Sometimes some languages call it bool, sometimes call char is available. I'll kind of write here, then I know I'm not making a mistake. Float is available. Oops. Double is available. And if I'm not mistaken, a byte is also available. Yep, here are your types. Basic data types in Java. So declare variables of various data types. I'm kind of just mentioning the various data types. I'm not going to use all of them, but here are the various data types. And hopefully you can kind of make an educated guess what each one does. Int can store an integer value. Boolean can store a value true or false. You can store a true or false, not 0, 1. That's C. We leave it alone. 0 and non-zero in Java, but we have two constants, true and false. Okay. In the C language, if you've done the C language, the Boolean variable was actually, it had a 0 and a 1. Internally in Java, it is 0 and non-zero, but we use true and false. Okay. So there are two Boolean constants, true with a capital T, false with a capital false. If you want to set something to true, you say true, you say false or false. What will character or the char type have? You can save a single character in it. One character. Only one. Anything but one. Then what is float and double? They are the same real numbers that you've seen in math. Float is smaller than double. Float takes, I think, 4 or 8 bytes and double takes 16 bytes. This one is the double. So one has more space than the other. And the byte is a byte. It only takes a byte. So here are the various data types. These are called data types. You will see them somewhere in your PowerPoint. All the data types will be mentioned. And int comes in different flavors also. There is a long also for your information. Long is a longer integer. You'll say, oh, how do I get all this? No big deal, guys. No big deal. I told you, Google is your best friend. Go here, say basic data types or data types in Java. And you will have a whole list of here. Primitive, they're called primitive also. And there it is. So we saw the Boolean, we saw the byte, we saw the, oh, there is a short also. There is an int, there is a long, there is a float, there is a double. There it is. They're all here, all that I mentioned. And the difference, look, the short integer is taking 16 bits. That means 2 bytes. The normal int is taking 4 bytes. The long int is taking 8 bytes. Of the float and double, it is 4 bytes and 8 bytes. The byte will only take a byte. The Boolean only takes a bit. So internally, 0 and non-zero, but default is false. Is it Python which has a capital T and Java which has a small t? We'll double check. In a minute, we'll double check. Okay. And remember, we will talk about IEEE standards. If you remember, I said we will talk. That's how numbers are stored. That's the IEEE standard. So there are the sizes, there are the types. And of course, you should be intelligent enough to say, what do I need? If you want to save the age of a person, I need a short will also do actually. I don't need an int also. A short will do because an int is quite a big number. It saves a number almost as big as, if I'm not mistaken, something in 2147488, 9-digit number or 10-digit number. Nobody's age is that big. You could have used short also, right? You could, yes.
String is not a data type.
String is a class, S capital. String is not a data type. String is a class.
But there we were using that as a data type only, right?
No. String I wrote with a capital S. Didn't you notice?
Oh, we wrote it with a capital letter, but we are declaring a variable with it, right?
Yeah.
It's same with the integer and age.
Yes, but here I could have done this. I cannot do new here. I cannot go new here. It will give me a compilation error. You only do new with objects. You don't do new with data types. That's why it's non-object oriented. That's the only part where it is long. It is non-object oriented. So I won't go short and long for now, but int everybody understands. So we'll use int. Though int is too big for age. I don't need any. So here I didn't say new string because string is such a common class that the Java developer said, okay, just use it without new. We know that you're using it. But string is a class. String is not a basic data type. It's not a primitive data type. Okay, so those were your data types. So now what have I done? I have an object called input of the scanner class. I have name of the string class. Which package do you think string belongs to? Make an educated guess. It is very common. String is so common, so it should belong to which package? Java dot lang. Thank you. Java dot lang. Guys, I think you all can speak, can't you? Yeah. So Java dot lang. So I don't need to import anything. But the scanner class belongs to the Java dot util package. So I have to import it. And then I used a basic data type or a primitive data type called age of type int. So declare variables of various, you can call it primitive. They're called primitive, old age, right? They're called primitive or basic. And that is the only place in Java which is non-object oriented. And they've not removed it. They could have, because they created classes in Java. I can't remember, was it 2 or 3? I forget. But they quickly said, oh, we should have created classes for them. But they didn't remove this stuff. It still remains. But that's the only place. Okay. Okay. So here are my variable declarations or my object declarations, whatever you would like to call it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to put it in the beginning of the method. You can put it wherever you like, before you use it, after you use it, but before the end of main. Right? Before the end of main. Okay. Now let's take input from the user. So I want to ask the user's name. So I'm going to print on the screen, what is your name? I'm going to print a message on the screen. I choose to use print here because I want my cursor to stay in front of it. What is your name? Or enter your name. This will become a question. So I'll kind of, so that I can use a colon. Please input your name. You can put a semicolon here, make it as pretty as you want. Put a blank here and then close your quotes and close your. So the colon, the blank, extra blank is just for the user readability. Otherwise, everything will be cluttered. As if you were asking, writing it. So that's computer asking. That will print on the screen. And the cursor will stop right in front of it. Why? Because I've used a print. And now it is expecting you to enter something. But where is the expectation? Where is it saying I'm expecting something? Here. It says, okay, give me something. I'm going to assign it. This is the assignment operator in Java. So take input from user and assign to the variable. I mean, we call it variable. String is so common, we call it variable, but it is an object, okay? So this is the assignment operator, and assignment happens at the end. At the end means it goes right to left. Associativity is right to left. So whatever happens first, and at the end, it is assigned to name. So now, what was your object called? The one that you said I will use for reading. You called it input. Right? What was the method called by the help of which you could read a text? It was called next string. If I'm not mistaken, was it next string? There. And to double check, just because I haven't used the scanner object. Oh, sorry, next line. Next line. It's called next line. I would have got a syntax error. It's called next line. My bad. See how quickly we forget our basic here. So what am I doing? Object name dot the name of the method. System.out.print. Object name dot the name of the method. Who's my object? Input. Who's my, what is the name of the method? Next line. So whatever you type in on your keyboard, why on my keyboard? Because I have related input to standard input. Standard.in. Remember system.in. Whatever you type till you press the enter key will all be taken and saved in the box called name, will be assigned to me. This is what will happen by this statement. So print is just printing a message on the screen. This is the statement which is forcing you to give input. Print is just a print. Print is not saying what is your name and that's just a message. Don't give it. It doesn't matter. It will still print the message. This is the statement which is basically taking input from the user, expecting the input to be text. Even if you say Anju 123, it is Anju 123 string. Even if you give 23, it is still assumed to be a string. Whatever you give, doesn't matter. Whatever you punch on your keyboard till you press the enter key is taken as a string and put in the variable called name, because it is of type string. If it was int, it is expecting an int. If it was char, it is expecting a char. If it was float, it was expecting a float. So this method, next line, and you look at it, what does it do? You can click on it. It's not a big deal. Click on it. It says advances this scanner past the current line and returns the input that was skipped. Look at its signature. Public, like our main. Look at its return type. What is its return type? String. Our main's return type was void. But what is next line assuming? What is it saying? I will return you a string. What is it expecting from you? Nothing. Parameter list is empty. These are the signatures of the next line method. And I have to exactly use them like this. Next line, opening bracket, closing bracket. Does not require any parameters from me. Returns a string to me, and the string it returns, what have I done? I've assigned it to a variable. I've put it in a box. So if a method gives something back to you and you don't put it somewhere, it's gone. That's the same thing. If I ask your name and I don't put it in my memory, it's gone. Right? So take input from user and assign it to the variable name. And you should know that the next line method, the method next line, do you notice the naming convention? Camel case, next line, N is small, L is capital. Leaving names of classes, everything else is camel case. Names of methods, names of variables, names of objects, everything. Everything is camel case. Only the name of the class is Pascal naming convention. So the next line, the method next line returns a string. And therefore, you have to assign it to a string variable. Actually, it's not a variable, it's an object, but anyway, because strings are so common, we kind of keep saying, I won't even say it here. So you have to know the name of the class, create an object of it, which method should I use, what does the method return, what parameters does it need, only then can you use it. It's like driving a car. If you don't know how to drive a car, you can't do it. You have to open the door, you have to get in, sit on the seat, put in your key, start the accelerator. Same thing here. I need to use a class. I have to know the class name. I create an object of it using the new method. Now I have the object. Good, I have a car, but I don't know how to drive. So I have to know which method to use, how to use it, what does it give back to me, what parameters does it need from me, and what does it give back to me. If it doesn't give anything back to you, you don't need to assign it to anything. It doesn't give anything back, so you don't need to assign it. It will give you an error if you try to assign it to something and it is not giving anything back to you, right? So if it gives something back, assign it so that you have it. Now you can use it. Now let's use it. So there, I've taken input. Now let's use it. I have this name variable. Let's print something on the screen. Print. Now I'm going to show you print. System.out. I'm going to show you print f as I had promised. Formatted print. Okay, let me show you without. Let me not give you a shock straight away. Let me do the print ln. You've seen it before. Okay, so I'll say hello. Oops. I'll say hello. And now I want to put your name. Not name, but what's inside the box name. So now name is a box. You want to look inside it. So if I go like this, what will happen? What will it print on the screen? Hello name. That's not what we want. What do we want? We want to say hello and what's inside the box. So how do you print what's inside the box? You want to print hello on the screen, and then you want to print the contents of the box. I'm going to use a plus here. This plus is not the mathematical plus. This is called the concatenation operator of strings. Java has two pluses. This is called overloading. Load something with more than once. So there are two pluses in Java. One, the normal plus we all know of. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. And one, this plus that I'm using with strings. Hello is a string. And I've said hello plus a string object. So it's saying I'm adding two strings. You don't add strings, you join strings. So this plus is actually a concatenation operator. Right? It's a concatenation operator, it is called. So what will it say? It will say hello. It will put a blank after the hello. Or if you want to put a comma, you can put a comma, then a blank, and then it will print whatever is inside the name. Now suppose you hadn't done this. So you read something from the user and then it went into the air. You never saved it anywhere. So how will you show it to the user then? So if you have to take input from the user, you have to put it somewhere. So put it in the right box. I did put it in age. Why? Because I said the method I am using is returning me a string. So what is the name of the method? What does it return? You then have to say, oh, I have to put it in a right box. So if I say, oh, I want to have a cup of coffee, I'll take a glass to Tim Hortons or my mug. You know what I mean? I won't take, I don't know, what stupid example can I take? I don't know. I won't take a shoebox. But if I have to eat something, then I'll get it in I'll take a small carton. Or if I need a sandwich, I'll take a small cardboard box. I won't take a glass for a sandwich. Make sense? So depending upon which method you use and what does it return, you will put it in the right kind of box and put it. You have it now. Then whenever you use it 1,000 times now. Now name can be used whenever, wherever you like in your program. Once you have given it a value. So now it will say print hello. So this is new for you. Name of the object, input. You could have called it anything. You could have called it read me, help me, whatever you like. Input is just a common input because input output is common. Name of the class, scanner. Name of the object, input. Name of the method, next line. Parameters, none. Return value, string. Assign it to a string object. Into everybody's head? Smile means yes. If you're smiling, good. Thank you. Okay, so now let's see if it works. Now, who knows whether she's saying it right or she's just making a fool of us. Let's see if it works. How do we know it works? If I can print the name on the screen, I've proven to you that you were able to read it, save it, and print it. Let's try it. Right, so save it. And let's now open our command line. Let's clear it because I have made a mess of it. Let's compile it. There. And if I have made a syntax error, it is going to tell me, which means I've forgotten my fundamentals. Right? And if I have, there it is. I forgot my semicolon. Where did I forget my semicolon? Here. Semicolon missing. Right? That's what happens when I have to look at 40 different faces, talk and write and things. No, I'm just lying. I forgot it. Okay, so let's try it again. Compiled. Does that prove that I'm able to read? No, it doesn't prove. Now I have to run it. If I could have a permanent pipe in my mouth and speak, it would be good. That's why I told you, let me have lunch, otherwise I'll faint. So the break is good. The break is 20 minutes. I can give you 10 of it if you're asking things, because I know you're waiting for the break. Oh, I'm stuck. I need to ask Anju. But give me 10 minutes to eat. I'm a fast eater, but I need to eat. Otherwise, I'm gone. Okay, now let's run it. There. Let's see if it asks us the question. What is important to us is the question. There. Do you see the last question? Before that is all that we had done before. Do you see that question on the screen? Please input your name. That please input your name is coming from a print statement, and this proves to you that after printing it stays where it was. If it was println, my cursor would be on my next line. Why did I make it on the same line? It just looks neater. It's expecting something from me. It won't go forward. It will just wait for me. I can press the enter key and it is fine. My name is blank. As soon as you press the enter key, your input is complete. It is expecting you to give input and then press the enter key. Remember the name of the method? Next line. Don't give anything. Press enter. There it is. Hello. What was saved in name? Nothing. Run it again. Let's try to be decent now. I'm just trying to give it as much as I want. There it says, hello, Anju Chawla the Great. So anything till the end of the line is taken, and it proves to you that it is saved in name, because what did I do? I spit out name. Was I right? Yes. You know how to take input? Yes. You know how to show output? Yes. Okay, now as promised, the printf statement. How much time do I have? Oh, I have 20 minutes. Okay, now this is not bad. It's okay. Like, I mean, I write something, then I put something. Then if I wanted something as hello and I wanted to say another message, I would have to kind of again start it, put a full stop. How are you? Welcome to Georgian. We're doing greetings, so I'll say welcome to Georgian or computer studies program. Something like that. But notice how I have to kind of break plus kind of do things. So if I wanted to show my name in between, I have to write something, break it. Again, whatever I want to spit out, I have to write it again. And I have to be very careful. If I need a blank, I need a blank. If I need to put a period, I need to put a period. Grammatically, I have to leave a blank, so on and everything. Like, oops. So it's not, there's nothing wrong in it. It's just more work. Putting pluses, breaking again, pluses, breaking again, pluses, breaking again. If I could write the whole thing together, write everything that I wanted to, and then I say fill in the blanks. Fill the first blank with this, fill the second blank with this, fill the third blank. It would be easier. I don't have to put pluses. Let's see. Can I do it? So that's not formatted print. That's wrong. Now I'm going to show you formatted print. And the difference is this. You still have to use a print function. The only thing is now this function is, method. Now this method is called printf. And I'll exactly copy what I did up here in this statement. But notice what I'll do. I'll exactly copy it. Okay, now. After the hello, you want to show my name. And my name is a string. Put a format specifier here. %S stands for string. And so whatever you want to put on the screen, put it in double quotes. Use literals or use format specifiers. So when you use formatted print F, you either put whatever you want to show, or so it could be just anything you want to show, or you use format specifiers. So literals, literal means spelling, I knew it was not going right. That's what it contains. What is a literal? Literal means whatever you see on the face value. That's what a literal is, right? A constant. So hello will be printed. Then it finds this odd thing. It says, who are you? This %S is a format specifier, and it's like a fill in the blank. And what will it be filled with? Now put a comma, and now put the name of the variable. And now put a semicolon. So the first format specifier %s is a fill in the blank and will be filled by name. I can have as many as I want. I will increase it, but one by one. Okay. So now what will it say? It will still say the same thing. Hello, comma, blank, my name, welcome to CS department. What have I saved myself? All those extra pluses and formatted output. And formatted output comes very handy when you want to kind of make a tabular structure or write everything from 4th column or write everything in exactly 20 spaces. So I'm only using a %s. So whatever will be mine, whatever I'll give, it will exactly take that space. But I can say %20s and it will give me 20 spaces and will adjust whatever I give in 20. Right justified if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. It could be left. But you can make it right or left using a minus or a plus. I'll show it to you one by one. But that's the format specifier %s. Let's see if it works. Semicolons at their places, everything at their places. Let's try. Let's try. Let's try again. Compile. Come on, run. Okay, so what is your name? I'm going to say Anju Chawla. I'll see the output twice, one with println and one with printf. Okay. Does it look any different? No. One uses println, one uses printf. You could have used print also. But what I'm trying to show you is in the second one, I didn't use the concatenation operator. I used the formatted print statement. That's what I used. Third form of print statement. Print, println, and printf. Now, if there is a %s, that means there are more percentages for sure. Because I may want to print a number. I may need to print a real number. Things can happen. So I'm just going to show you very quickly I have 15 minutes. It stresses me out when I don't have time. What did I do? Control Z. I'm going to just show you something just for the heck of it so that you understand that, oh, what if I give something like 20s? Okay. And what if I give something like -20s? 20s says give me exactly 20 spaces for it. And what does -20 say? And let's run it again. So I said only S. And did you notice the output? It exactly gave me whatever I needed. Exactly. Anju Chawla, whatever Anju Chawla needed. ANJU 4 CHA 11. Exactly 11. Now I've said give me 20. Right? Now when I say give me 20, did I save it? Oh, good job. I'm learning to save. Okay. Let's clear the screen. Let's compile it. So happy when there are no compilation errors, but you need to do and make compilation errors so that you learn not to make the errors again. Okay, what is my name? Let's go Anju Chawla. Do you see the difference here? Oh God, oh. Okay, good. Anyway, let me show you what printf has done. It hasn't gone to a new line. Do you notice all this Anju Chawla which has taken 20 and is right justified? And notice this 20 which is left justified, but it is still 20. So now I've said I need 20 for it. And you say, why didn't it go to a new line? Printf doesn't automatically go to a new line, guys. So you'll have to do what? What do you think I'll have to do? We've learned it. There's another one actually. I'll tell you this one. Put a %n. You'll say you just said /n and now you're saying a %n because %n is portable across all platforms. Doesn't matter. You can use %n only in printf and it is portable in the sense you can use it irrespective of wherever you're writing your code. I'm talking writing your code. /n can be used with all three, print, println, printf, but it is not portable. Maybe Linux cannot use it /n. Maybe Mac doesn't use /n. You know what I mean? So printf, if you're using printf, instead of using /n, use %n to go to a new line. It doesn't automatically go to a new line. It doesn't. Now, having said that, and now if I can make it more clean, I'm going to do this again. Because who can read what it was coming to? and run it once and give my name. And here, now look, these are 20 characters. That's the 20s. That's the 20s. So 11 my name has taken and the rest 9 are blanks. Right justified. Strings are right justified, as I said. Right. To make it left justified, I put a minus in front of it and it became left justified. What happened? I had blanks after, but it is still giving me 20. What if I give more than 20 characters? What do you think?
Wait, so space art. For a space, is it art?
For the spaces it is?
Yeah, if I wanted to just do a space, is it
Oh, you mean you put it your...
like if I just wanted a space?
Just the blank, just the space character then. The 20s is giving you exactly 20 characters to show the name. That's what percentage does. Let's try to run it. And I'm not sure, but let's try to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's more than 20. It says, oh, you told me 20, you're giving me more than 20. That's okay. I'll ignore your 20 and I'll still print everything. So if you give more, the 20 is ignored. If you give less than the 20, it pads it with blanks. Okay, make sense? That's percentage S. If there is a percentage S for strings, there has to be something for floats and something for integers. So let's ask the next question. Let's ask the person's name. What's your age? So again, we'll take input from the user. Not read input, let's take input. We don't read, I mean, whatever. I'm not an English teacher, but I still want to be right when I write something. The right with the... And now, please input your age. If I'm going to input my age, I'm assuming it is an integer. I mean, logically, all of us know. So I'm going to put it in the variable age. I'm still going to use the same object input. Input is my reader. It is the object which helps me to read. It's like your pen. It's the object which helps you to write. Whether you write it on a paper or whether you write it on, where else do you write? On an envelope, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like you are, but that's your object with which you write. So input is the object with which you read. Now, if I want to read an integer, remember the method? It was called next int. Took no parameters and returned an integer. So if you go here somewhere, there is also a next for your information. Next int, it's all okay. Better to go up and look at here. Next int, there it is. What does it return? The int basic data type, primitive data type, right? Though I must confess, so that it is a little confusing, but the basic data type and the class ints are exchangeable. They made it exchangeable because they made a mistake in the beginning, and then they said, you know what, we don't want to now confuse our users. Use int or use capital int. We'll do the conversions ourselves. Don't worry about it. So it is returning an int. The method is called next int, takes no parameters, but is returning an int. If it is returning an int, you must save it in an int box. What was your int box? Age. Don't save it in name. You'll get a compilation error. Try it. I mean, I don't know. You'll say, why don't you use this? Try it. But what will happen in this case, that name is not an int. It will take the int, but it will not save it as an int. It will save it as character 3 or character 5 or character 25. So it will work, but like you won't be able to do math with it or anything. So be very careful about types. You have to you want to know what type of box do I want? How big or small box do I want? Do I need a short, an int, or a long? You have to know that. It's important. Believe me, it's important in the long run. You say, I don't care. What if I take 8 bytes? I only need 1 byte, but I take 8 bytes. You're wasting space. You're wasting memory space. This all is happening in RAM. Programs are running in RAM. Variables are being created in RAM. You're wasting RAM. I know RAM is cheap. I know we have 16 gigabytes, but I still care because we must think like programmers. Don't have that attitude. I don't care. IDK. When my kids say IDK, I say, what does that mean? I don't care. Now I know it too. IDK. If they tell me something and I want to act smart, I say, I care. But I want you to care. So think like good programmers. Okay. So now you have the age. Now I'm going to print out something again for you. And I'm going to show you, hello, whatever. Welcome to CS department. You are percentage D to show an integer. Message telling the person, I've asked the person how old are you, and I'm telling the person you are this much old. But I mean, just to show you, right? Okay, so what did I do? I said hello, percentage S will be replaced by something. Welcome to CS department is a literal. You are percentage D years old, and then the percentage N to go to a new line. So how many fill in the blanks? 1. And how many? 2. So how many variables do you need after the comma? 2. The first one must be the name. The second one must be the age, not name. Don't interchange them. Don't mix them. Do them, and of course you'll have all kind of good answers. But don't do that. This is the right way of doing it. Now it will say, hello, Anju Chawla or whatever. Welcome to CS department. You are, I'm not telling you, years old. There. Let's see if it works. You have seen another format specifier, D. Now, if you wanted to show your age exactly in 2 digits, you could say 2D, in 3, in 4, in 5, in 6. Same thing, right? So we'll try D first and then we'll do this. Semicolons missing? No. Everything looks okay. Hopefully okay. Let's go to the command line. We have 6 minutes more. Let's clear the screen. And let's compile the program. And once more. Good. Let's run it. What's your name? Anju. Oh, all that 20. Please input your age. I don't look like, but that's it. 50. And there is, hello Anju, welcome to CS department. You are 50 years old. Works. Simple. Printf can do things. Right? Okay. What about the semester fee you've paid? Is it an integer? Or is it a real number? Real number. Okay. So your job for the next time you come to class, worth 1%, to be done individually, is to input the semester fee you paid, save it in a float or a double, if you are an international student, I'm just joking, and print it out with 2 places after decimal. That's your 1% assignment for next week. Show it to me, take your mark. I would like you to add another variable that can save the semester fee you paid for this semester, semester 1. And I don't want it to be an integer. I want it to be a real number. Then I want you to ask the user, what did you pay for this semester? And then I want you to print it. Hello, Anju, your age is this, or even you paid this much for the semester. 1%, free mark. You can do it in 6 minutes if you like right now, but I won't give you that 6 minutes. I'm going to show you what happens if I do a 3D or a 4D or a 5D. Let's try to compile it again. Let's try to run it again. Let's try to go. You see what happened to 12? I gave it 5D. So it's exactly been given how much space? 5. So this is how when you want to show something in tables, tabular structure, it comes handy, right? So that means you will have to do a few things. The few things will be, you will have to know how to declare a float variable because semester fee is float. 2, you already know how to take input, but you will have to look for the right method to read a floating number. 3, you would like to print it as a floating point number using printf and show 2 places after decimal. So percentage S won't work, percentage D won't work. So you have to do 3 things. For 1%, why not? How much time will it take? 10 minutes? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That is, your first assignment is ready. I may give you more marks if you do a good job. Okay, we'll go to 2% if you like. Anyway, now you can ask me questions. Oh, last thing on the agenda, guys. I have 3 minutes. Don't pack your bags. The last thing on the agenda was be the computer, play the computer. What does it mean is this? If I give you some code and I say, okay, what is the computer doing? What is the user doing? That's playing code. So for example, in this question, leaving out, if I say, what is the first thing the computer does? Input your name. Please input your name. Right? So computer, please input your name. User, AA. Computer, your name is this. Computer, what is your age? So when you say play computer, this is what it means. You write what is the computer saying, and you say what is the user input. So suppose in this program itself, what does the computer, leaving all this, we are only talking about input output. Of course, the computer is doing all that, print. Now the computer says, what is your name? Or please input your name. What does the user input? Anju Chawla. What does the computer say? Hello, Anju Chawla, whatever. This is playing the computer. So you should know how to play the computer, because that will tell me that if I give you code and I say play the computer, you will exactly know this is what the computer does, this is what I say, this is what the computer does, this is what I say. That takes care of what was on the agenda today. Now, any questions for me in the last minute? Are we all okay? Even if you are not, you have to say yes, or you can come and attend the same class tomorrow, or you can come to my office sometime during the week and verify the class.